very popular anime character called Naruto. But if you want to know how Japanese actually pronounce, it's Naruto, because R sound doesn't even exist in Japanese. So they should spell it as Naruto. But of course they spell with R, and that's why Americans call it Naruto. So our mutual friend Maki, she has a very thick Japanese accent.
Thick, very
So
thick.
L and R, she got it backwards. Give me the example, please.
Hello. She go, hello, leave me alone. Leave me alone. She go, when she says R, she says L. When she says L, she says R. And she go, good rock. And when you say run, she goes, run. You run away.
And she's the one actually who told you
Black bastard. You black bastard. No, not the black bastard. Black bastard.
The R sound doesn't exist in Japanese. So Naruto is actually Naruto. Many people were asking, what about Dororo or Zoro? But there's no exception, period. In Japanese, there are only 5 vowels. A, I, U, E, O. And we have the 5 sounds, just like L, la, di, ru, de, ro. Our tongue is placed right up there, close to the back of the front teeth. For them to place their tongue all the way back to make the R sound is very difficult. Another important factor is accent. Tokyo standard is very flat. So Naruto, Dororo, Zoro is how Japanese pronounce. It's not your fault that they spelled it R. When ramen became popular, that was it. It did enough damage when it's actually LAMEN. But you're not the only one. We all do that. See, Japanese pronounce McDonald as McDonaldo. When we learn foreign languages, we must also learn to unlearn, drop what we know, and do as the Romans do. Some people said it almost sounds like R when I said rarirurero. I don't know why, because if it was for R, I would say rarirurero, which is obviously different. As I said, Naruto is not Naruto. Japanese have no concept of R until they learn English. I always have a hard time teaching them the difference between light and right. And there are a few more consonants that don't exist in Japanese. Have you heard them say thank you? That's because th and th don't exist. And we don't have b. F doesn't exist either. But as they started using English words, they quickly had to adapt. They had to learn to say fan or fax. But the problem is, biting the upper lips is easy, but they can't discern all the different kinds of vowels in English, because Japanese has only 5 vowels, I, U, E, O. So it might sound like fun when they mean fan. It might sound like fox when they mean fax.
I love Tomoko-san's videos because it creates a lot more accessibility for learning Japanese for a lot of people. I spent 2 years in Okinawa while working, going to language school, and they used Genki and Minasan no Nihongo for learning Japanese, which uses the R. I love that she uses the L because, honestly, because a lot of students pick up on Gambaru or Suru and stuff, while the sound sits between L and R, honestly. So it's not Gambaru, but Gambaru. And it's like a sound that sits in between, and talking to different Japanese people and people learning Japanese, a lot of people have completely mixed ways on how they actually hear it. And I think teaching it with an L can create more context for people who, say, pick up learning books later that put an R in there as well, and it can create better context on how to speak better.
I said that the R sound doesn't exist in Japanese, so Naruto is actually Naruto. Many people were asking, what about Dororo or Zoro? But there's no exception, period. In Japanese, there are only 5 vowels, I, U, E, O. And we have the 5 sounds, just like L, la, di, ru, de, ro. Our tongue is placed right up there, close to the back of the front teeth. For them to place their tongue all the way back to make the R sound is very difficult. Another important factor is accent. Tokyo standard is very flat. So Naruto, Dororo, Zoro is how Japanese.
I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you. Because when Naruto came to America, I kept wondering why in the hell are they pronouncing this shit wrong? Thank you. It's one of my favorite animes. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the bell to get notified about new videos of Songwriters Room or my new music or JapaNEWS series. Thank you for watching. Arigato. Sayonara.